What happens in the brain of a chess master in a high level game? That's what I'm going to be showing you guys. Let's hop into it. All right, we're playing some very high quality game. Our first opponent is 2306 from Canada. And I'm basically attacking the pawn, initiating an Italian game. And he's playing the two knights defense. Now, keep in mind that knight c3 is a mistake. We're going to be playing pawn d3, guarding the pawn. And then after bishop c5, I like to castle my king in these types of positions so that way I can get the regular Italian setup. For example, pawn to c3 is definitely an idea with the whole aim of playing pawn to d4. Usually we don't want to pin the knight just yet, unless they play something like d6, because just chasing my bishop around is not something that I want. Now that he plays a4, there's no knight a5, so I'm good. I'm definitely thinking of just playing d4 now, though. Just d4, hit the bishop. I need to be aware of the fact that my pawn is left here unprotected. So, for example, if I take on e4, he takes on, well, e4. So what I'll do now is I'll put my rook on e1, guarding the pawn. And then the moment he moves his d pawn, I'll move my h pawn. Because we don't want to allow this pin. This pin is usually not good. Now, if I pin, he's able to pin, and his pin is more dangerous. So let's play h3 here. And then he plays h6. I was just about to pin there. The slight thing with my position is I'm trying to get my knight to g3. But if I play knight to d2, I'm losing my d4 pawn. So I'm actually going to be putting my knight on the edge of the board, but the whole idea is not to keep the knight on the edge of the board. I want to play moves like knight c2 guarding d4, bishop d3 guarding e4 if I have to. I mean, rook to e8 may be a very nice move, just applying so much pressure to my e pawn. But let's see what he does. So he decided to take on d4. Let's just take back. No need to think too much about this. Assuming he's trying to play d5, giving me some ice upon knight takes e4. I'm always seeing this idea and I'm always falling for it. But definitely have to take back the knight. So let's just okay, I have to. Do I have to? I think, yeah, I have to take back the knight. So let's just take the knight. And then he's going to play d5 and fork it back. So I'm about to lose my bishop, seeing that way my rook and my bishop is under attack. I could either move my rook out the way and then after takes, I take back, but then he's going to have three attackers. I'm going to have two defenders. Or I could take on d5, queen takes, attack my rook. That's also a very strong move. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start by playing rook to e3. So that way, after takes, I can always play rook to d3 to either guard my d4 pawn or apply pressure to one of his pieces if he takes. So he should not be able to take on d4. But I still have an isolated pawn, so I still need to be very careful. I'm also not able to play d5 due to the spin. But if I can play something like rook to d3, then d5, that would be nice. I mean, bishop e6 in this position seems like a playable. No, actually, if bishop e6, I take his bishop. If he takes on d4, rook to d3, pins his bishop. So he decided to take my knight first, which means if I take with the knight, he takes with, well, okay, I may have to take on b3 here. Because if I takes, he's able to play also queen takes. So I'm going to take on b6, knowing that he has this in-between move. I don't like the fact that he has the in-between move, though. I'm not going to lie. Looks like I'm just down by a clean pawn, no? But it's opposite colored bishop, so it's still a very tricky situation. Usually in opposite colored bishop, the player with the more active position gets the advantage. So let's play rook to d3 hits the queen. Once I can activate my pieces very, very quickly, then he should be the one in trouble. I'm thinking of moves like queen g3, putting my queen on the same line as his king, threatening bishop takes a6, bishop e3, attacking this weak pawn, swinging my rook over to d1. So the question is, where will you put the queen? If queen e7, then I get this tempo. Plus, it's not really good for him to move the bishop because he's going to be losing his b7 pawn. So I'm down by a pawn, but kind of like my position. Queen h4, that's a very aggressive score for a queen. And the whole queen g3 idea is now out the window. But we're able to play bishop to e3. That's a tempo on the pawn. Bishop f5 is not a move. I'm trying to double up my rooks. Where is he going to put this bishop, though? Let's say bishop e6. If bishop e6, we should be able to take on b7 or b6. Once all my pieces join the game, then I'm going to be super confident that I'm not just holding. I'm going to be confident that I'm better. So he has to act fast here. So he did play bishop to e6. I guess his development is more important than him trying to hold on to material. And, I understand. I'm trying to take on b6 and not b7. And I'm trying to take on b6 so that way he's not able to put one of his rook on the open d file. Because I'm sure he wants to do something like that. So let's just take on b6. Like b7 is still hanging, by the way. And I'm still trying to play rook to d1. Queen to b4 is definitely decent. It attacks my bishop. Okay, I need to be careful here. I need to be very careful. Where do I put the bishop? Or do I guard the bishop? Okay, this is very tricky. Taking on b7 is bad. There's rook b8. I think he wants to take on b2 though, and that's going to be annoying. Unless I'm able to play bishop to d4 and start some attack. Okay, let's just pull the bishop back to d4 actually. Okay, bishop d4, guards b2, saves the bishop. Rook is still not in the game, but it's only a matter of time. a3 hits the queen. Queen g3 threatens mate. Okay, let's see. Maybe he plays rook to d8. No, that's two pieces on my bishop. Then I'm just going to go rook to d1. Still like my position. Plus, I have more time than him. Time is very important in these 10-minute games. So he did play this rook d8 move. I'm trying to play a3, but I think I'm just going to play immediate rook d1. Bishop takes a2 looks like a possibility though. But I should be able to get some attack if I sack that pawn. Plus pawn b3 is also very interesting. Yeah, let's go rook d1. We have to go for the activity. We don't want to be trying to hold on to material here. I mean, he could take, but there's pawn b3, there's queen g3. Plus, remember what I said about opposite colored bishops. Whenever there's an opposite colored bishop situation, you're playing with an extra piece if you're the one attacking. It's only when it's in the end game then the position is very drawish in opposite colored bishops situation. So it's either bishop takes a2 or bishop d5. I'm expecting both cases. I may just play queen g3, and then I'm going to be starting my own attack on his dark squares. It's very important that I attack the dark squares, because if I attack the dark squares, he does not have a dark square bishop to guard the dark squares. So again, I'm going to be basically playing with an extra piece. The queen to b5 was played. Now I'm seeing he's just trying to play queen to g5 if I play queen to g3. Like, I think that's the whole point of playing that move. Okay, how do I make progress though? Pawn to h4, I'm assuming. Because pawn to h4 prevents this queen to g5 idea. Because I'm not trying to trade the queens off the board, right? Plus, he has no time on the clock. So because he has no time on the clock, I'm trying to apply as much pressure to his position. So let's hit him with h4. Now he sees that I'm trying to play queen g3. Bishop takes a2, still should be able to play. Honestly, maybe I should just play a3. So that way I could say, I'm not about to lose a pawn before I rush my attack. But let's see. Maybe I could play a3 next. He has no time on the clock though. It's impossible not to lose this. No, it's impossible if I lose this. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Queen to f5. He's trying to trade. And that's not a bad move. If I play queen g3, there's queen g4. What if I take on b7? That's a free pawn. If I take on b7, I mean rook to b8, I just move. Bishop to d5. Need to be careful about my g2 square. But if bishop d5, I just go queen c7, come back to g3, and I'm fine. Pawn is just a pawn at the end of the day. Scrap that free pawn. And then he decided to take something on e2. He doesn't want to play the position down by a pawn. Pawn to b3 now. No, pawn to b3. There's bishop b1, queen f3. Okay, there's a lot happening. Maybe I need to play queen rook g3. Rook g3. There's pawn g6, pawn b3, bishop b1, rook f3. Let's start by playing pawn b3. It's gonna scare him. He's gonna think his bishop is trapped. It's not trapped, but it's gonna scare him, and he doesn't have a lot of time on the clock. Queen to d5. Now, if I takes rook d2, where does the bishop go? b1. Hmm, interesting. So I can't trade, but this is also under attack. If I go here, he takes, and then I take. Okay, let's try that. Let's go queen c7. If he takes on b3, because my rook is on the same line as his queen, I'm able to take on g7, and that's a nice discovered attack. So he plays rook to d7. Now I pull back to g3, and then he plays f6. No, I take on f6, threatening mate hitting the queen, because everything is being guarded. Bishop c5 is also winning. So bishop c5, queen takes, rook takes, that's winning. Bishop takes f6, and then He just moves the queen. So it has to be bishop c5. Bishop c5. That's the move. This is called a discovered attack. Bishop attacks the rook, rook attacks the queen. My rook is guarded like twice. He's only attacking it once. So he has to take on c5. Once I take, I'm also threatening a checkmate on g7. So let's take, threatening mate. Bishop is still trapped, by the way, so he has to be careful. Rook to f7, I takes, king takes, check, and that's gonna win the game. This is resignable. Okay, he plays queen c2, but that's just a checkmate. Welcome to high quality chess from a chess master. My opponent plays knight to f3, and I'm going to play g6 here. I'm going for some King's Indian defense setup to keep things complex. h4, I should not mind. Yeah, it's a weird move, to be honest. Let's just continue with development. Usually they play h5 and then they sacrifice their rook, but this guy wants to give me a rook. I'm taking the rook. He plays bishop f4 instead. Let me just castle the king. It looks like it's going to be some London type setup. Queen d2. Looks like he's trying to play bishop h6. Knight e4. Knight e4, I like it. Hits the queen. Queen to e3 hits the knight. Pawn to d5 guards the knight. Bishop h6 trades the bishop. And am I comfortable with that? I should be. Let's go knight e4. It's very important that we start posing problems to the opponent's position as quickly as we can. Now that he plays queen to e3, I'm actually thinking of playing knight d6 with the idea of playing knight f5. Knight d6, knight c3, knight f5, queen back to d2, pawn d5. But then there's pawn g4. So let's just go pawn d5. Bishop h6, he did not play. He played h4, which could be dangerous, to be honest. Like if he's able to take and then play bishop h6 and then take here, that could lead to some stuff. Pawn c5, I'm thinking of. Pawn c5. If he ever takes, I'm going to take with the f pawn. So that way my pieces gets activity. So I'm fine. Let's just go pawn c5. I'm not afraid of his attacks. Okay, but then he plays bishop to h6. Now he wants to takes, and then when I play king takes, he takes. Very interesting. Okay, what if I take here? Just ignore the third. Take it the queen. He takes here. Hit him with something like queen b6. He takes my bishop, I take. But then he takes. Wait, don't tell me that I'm already in trouble. What is this? Takes. Takes, knight takes, e5 takes. Hit the queen, queen h6. Takes, knight takes, takes. Queen takes, threatening mate. Okay, I'm in trouble. I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm in trouble. Okay, I'm gonna start by taking on d4 just because it attacks the queen, but I'm still not sure what's happening. Knight takes. He still wants to take on g7. If I takes hit the queen, okay, do I have a check? Check there c3. And if I takes hit the queen, he takes. Yo, I'm in trouble too quickly. Do I have to just pull my knight back to f6? And if takes, check king back. All right, let's just do that. I didn't want to put my knight on e4 and then pull it back to f6. If you have to do something like this, you're definitely in trouble. We're not going to be getting checkmated though, for sure. Like, I move my knight to e4, then pulling it back to f6. I could say he moved his queen to d2, then to d3, and his bishop to f4, then to h6. Not trying to justify anything, but let's just see. Because if he takes, king takes, he takes, f takes, queen check, king back. Guy has nothing. My knight just guards everything. And pawn e5 is coming. If I play h takes, I'm mated. So let's play f takes. I will never move my knight from the f6 square. And if I'm not moving my knight from the f6 square, then h7 is guarded. So he decides to play knight c3, which is smart. If e5, there's queen takes. So let's go knight c6, hit the knight. Still trying to play e5. I mean, maybe he could castle. And then if e5 takes, queen takes. Looks like something. Okay, expected. Queen to b6, you could say it pins the knight. So if he takes, I'm able to trade first. Queen to b6, e5. If he takes, I take first. Again, queen to b6, I like. And just keep in mind that I'm never getting mated with this check. Once I play king to g8, I'm fine. So now he needs to develop his bishop very quickly. And I need to get this knight out of the center of the board. I don't really have enough time on the clock though. Knight e6 is a check that I did not even consider. But he didn't play it before. So is he gonna play it now? Knight e6 takes, queen takes, take on f2. Is that even a free pawn? check, I have to go back to G8. Oh, I cannot go back to G8. There's knight takes D4 and I'm GG's. So it has to be king to F7. So if knight takes, queen takes, king back. Oh my God. Knight back to F3. Okay, so he's trying to either check here or take here. Oh boy. If he checks here, I'm done. If he takes here, I'm done. He's threatening both of them. What am I going to do? E6, check, king back, takes. All right, let's just go king back. I'm losing. I'm losing. I'm not going to lie. I'm losing. I'm going to try something. The king does not belong here. If he takes, rook takes, bishop e6 hits the rook. That's my idea. If he plays knight to g5 though, then I guess I'm taking on f2. Knight g5, knight g4 hits the queen. Queen h7, knight f2, 4. Is that an idea? It's probably not. Knight takes d5 is always going to be too strong. He plays e3. Guys, patient. He's patient. Bishop g4 now. Hit him with bishop g4, pinning this knight. He takes on d5. I takes, rook takes. And we're just hoping for the best, to be honest. Let's go bishop g4. We have to develop. We have to just develop. Rook to d8, guard the pawn. Have to at least play fast. So that way he gets into some time trouble situation. Hey, he's also developing. He's not trying to get greedy or anything. All right. That knight is pinned. My d pawn is the piece that I need to not lose here. Why not just play a6, hit the bishop, and if he takes, pawn takes, guard the d pawn, rook comes to b8, push takes, takes, rook takes, takes, a6. What check does he have? Not seeing it. Okay, let's play a6. We have to play with some. Okay, he didn't even take it. And I don't have b5. Okay, I want to play queen c5, b5. Eventually, I still have to get my rook on this open file, unless I'm able to play b4, rook c8. Queen c5 guards d5, so why not? Okay, let's go here. I'm not losing. Okay, I'm not losing. If he moves this knight, I take the rook. Eventually, I will be giving up my bishop for a knight. A king does not belong on the e8 square. So I'm definitely not winning, but I don't think I'm dead loss. Time situation is also not in my favor. Okay, queen f4. What did that do? What did he attack? He puts his queen on the same line as my rook. Do I have anything? Can I take stakes knight e4? I can't. I cannot. What's the threat though? Knight takes d5 is the threat. Knight takes d5, takes it the queen, queen takes. Rook c8, knight d5, takes, e4, go back. Okay, maybe we don't want to allow that. We don't want to allow that. Is it time to give up the... I think it's time to give up the bishop for the knight. Takes, pawn takes, hit the queen. Hmm. Okay, my time is running out. I have to just play it. Time is running out. Okay, so takes, pawn takes. Knight e4, there's knight takes e4 and I lost. Pawn e5, there's queen takes. Pawn b5. Okay, let me start with b5, bishop back, rook d8. Just guard everything. So there's 1, 2, 3 attackers, 1, 2 defenders. Okay, let's add another defender. Pawn e5. Pawn e5 is an idea, but I'm not trying to expose my king, to be honest. I'm also thinking of d4, which you could say that's exposing my king. So let's see. I'm also thinking, okay, queen c7 is very strong. My knight is pinned. I cannot move my knight. Queen d6. Queen d6 loses a pawn. Rook d7. Rook d7 hits the queen, though. Let's just hit the queen. Yeah, let's hit the queen. If he checks, I move the king. His queen is under attack. Check, I move the king. Queen is under attack. If bishop takes, okay, let's move the king. Wait, what's happening here? Is this queen trapped? Oh no, whoa, no, it's not. He's winning a pawn. Okay, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. Because once he takes this pawn is also under attack. Okay, he takes rook a7. Let's play rook b8. Rook a7 is the threat. I'm trying to trap his queen. I'm in trouble though, but the queen is slightly trapped. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, 1, 2, 3 defenders. 1, 2, 3 attackers. 1, 2 attackers. 2 defenders. Rook a7 traps the queen. Rook b6 also traps the queen. How does he not get his queen trapped? If queen a3, pawn b4 is a fork. Oh, but there's knight a4. So he took on d5, which means if I play any move I play, he gets a discovered attack. So I have to take here. But if I take here, there's rook takes. What if I play rook? Nah, nah. Okay, I just have to do it. We can't think. Rook takes, also forced. E4, I'm expecting. I'm expecting e4. If rook takes h7, king g8 hits the rook. But his queen is not getting trapped anymore. Pawn to e4, I'm expecting. Yeah, pawn e4 is just very strong. Now he's just going to take with the pawn, or even with the bishop with check. Maybe I just need to play king to g7 to guard this pawn, to be honest. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's just guard this pawn. Let's give him back the rook. He found a nice tactic. How is he going to take? Bishop takes. Bishop takes. Okay. Pawn takes, knight d4 or knight b4. Knight b4, where does he put the queen? Oh God, I have to make a move. Let's go knight d4. Knight d4, rook c8. I'm down by 2 pawns, by the way. So if I do not checkmate his king, I lose the game. If I trade the queens, I lose the game. But he's always seeing a move that I didn't see. For example, I think my position is safe now. So what is he going to find? I'm threatening this. I want to play this. Okay, didn't really do much. Check, there's king over. Oh, he wants to go here. Let's go rook c8. Oh, fudge! I blundered. Rook takes. Okay, I'm playing too fast. Or that was just one of those instant moves. GG's. Oh, God, he missed it. What the heck? He missed rook takes. And if queen takes, takes. Now I'm able to take, hit the rook. Take, hit the rook. And then f2 is hanging. He has to go here. Okay, this is kind of under attack. Hit the rook again. Okay, let's just hit the rook again. I have to play fast. Oh, okay, let's hit the rook again. If takes, takes, queen takes, that's mate. So he has to go back. Takes, pawn takes. Okay, now I just have to play fast. Maybe just roll my pass pawn up the board. How do I only have 50 seconds on the clock, man? Okay, I'm just going to roll the h pawn. Pass pawns must be pushed at the end of the day. Okay, let's just roll the pawn. I'm sure he's just trying to flag me here. 55 seconds. Just roll the pawn. That's all I'm doing. Just rolling the pawn. Because I can also get my rook behind my pawn. So that's also a plus. Okay. Just keep rolling the pawn, I guess. Knight guards this, queen guards this, rook h8. Just keep rolling the pawn. Pass pawns just has to be pushed. Okay, now I guard the pawn. If he moves this, he loses. If I'm able to get my queen here, it's GG's. Knight g3. Such a strong move. Knight g3. If he takes with the pawn, he did take with the pawn. No, I check. Here. Oh, backside. He blocks with the rook. I didn't even see that. But now I'm able to sack the queen and then promote. Yeah. Let's sack the queen. And if queen takes, I promote to a queen. Pass pawn. What did I tell you guys about pass pawns? You have pass pawns, you roll them up the board. Now he has to sack his queen. But I only have 28 seconds on the clock, so I have to be fast. Okay, let me just get my king in the game. I'm just waiting on him to sack his queen. I'm sure he's trying to flag me. Okay, let me pre-move that. Okay, let's just keep getting the king in the game. Because the moment he starts rolling his pawns, I want my king to be active, active. And I'm going to grab this pawn very soon and start rolling my G pawn. My G pawn is going to be a pass pawn. But king activity is crucial in the end game. Okay, let me pre-move this again. Okay, he moves the bishop. Now I'm going to take and then hit the pawn. Very nice. Okay, bishop d3. I forgot about that. I forgot that he was also attacking my pawn. Backside. It's hard now. It's very hard to win this now. It's very hard to win this. The great thing is he does not have time on the clock. But it's just hard to win this. I just have to attack his pawns. Keep attacking his pawns. Check. I have no time. 6 seconds. Oh, no time. All right. So our opponent is 24-44, and I've lost one game and I won one game. So this is going to be the tiebreaker game. And it's a Nador variation of the Sicilian. So it's going to be aggressive, theoretical stuff. Like everything that you guys are seeing now is theoretical stuff. Bishop e6, queen d2, queenside castle. Unless he plays h5, which he didn't. If I castle, there's probably h5. So let's play g4 first, and then I castle. So now there's no h5. So my goal is to castle and play g5. That's the plan. So b5, if I castle, there's probably b4. If immediate g5, there's probably knight h5 or something like that, which I should be fine with. There's also a4. Castle b4, there's knight d5. He's not going to be able to take with the knight. And if he takes with the bishop, I takes. Knight b6. Nah, let's go g5. We have to be aggressive. I'm trying to be aggressive. And then he plays b4. That's a nice move. If I takes, he takes. If knight d5, there's knight takes, bishop. Okay, let's go knight d5. If knight takes, bishop f5, I should be able to castle. I mean, his b pawn is also going to be under attack. So not bad. This is the tiebreaker game, and it's a Nador Sicilian, and it's a 2400 player. Let's see. Okay, so takes, hit the bishop f5. If I take a free pawn on b4, he takes on g5. And then if I take on g5, there's queen g5. Queen is coming to e3. So let's get the king out the center first, but then there's a5. That's the thing. So what if I play a3 though? Yeah, let's just play a3. If a5 I take, if he takes, I play rook takes, his a6 pawn is weak. The only thing is, where am I going to get my king castled? If after takes, I'm not able to castle on the queen side anymore. So that could be something. Okay, rook to c8, decent move. My c pawn is under attack. I'm thinking bishop to d3, but there's takes, and then bishop g5. Okay, think. What's the move? Rook takes is coming. If rook c1, pawn takes. Pawn c3, there's takes. So what's the move? All right, I'm still gonna play bishop to d3. It's kind of weird now. Takes, queen takes, take on g5, and then I take on b4. Oh, but then there's takes. Oh my God, this is already weird. So if takes, I have to play pawn takes. And then I have the ugliest double pawns on the d file. And when you're playing against these high-rated players, man, they just make chess seems hard. Takes, I have to play pawn takes. Because if queen takes, I'm losing the pawn, and I'm not able to take here. So let's play pawn takes. I'm still threatening b4, and if he takes, I'm still going to play rook takes, and attack is a pawn. I think I'm going to be castling my king on the king side, which is already very exposed. I think he needs to castle and then play f6. Well, maybe takes, castle, and if rook takes f6. And if I castle, still play f6. If he plays with that variation, then a lot will happen. I mean, for some reason, he's using up a lot of his time. Knight to b6, he's immediately targeting the weakest pawn on the board. If I play queen takes, knight takes is already a 4. Queen a6, queen d7, trade the queens off the board. My bishop is under attack. Bishop d2, there's rook c2. I mean, I am going to lose this pawn. Maybe pawn takes, knight takes, rook takes, knight takes, queen takes, bishop takes. Boxer, this is crazy. Okay, takes, check, queen block. Takes, king takes, bishop back, rook c2, pawn takes, knight takes, rook takes, knight takes, queen takes, bishop takes. What's happening? If I takes, there's queen takes. That has to be bad. All right, I'm just going to go in it. So it's takes, knight takes, check, queen block, takes, king takes. Guy didn't even block with the queen. He played king f8. So he's also trying to keep the queens on the board. So my bishop and my pawn is under attack. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, I don't like this anymore. Okay, let's go bishop f2 then. Let's go bishop f2. I'm trying to take on a6. I'm also trying to castle my king, but my king is not safe anywhere anyways. So he did take, and I'll take here, and I'm expecting rook to c2. And then my pawn on b2 is under a lot of attack. Yeah, yeah, I'm not 100% sure what's happening. Queen b7 hits the knight, but there's knight f4. There's no rook c1. There's no king d1. Okay, I think I'm just going to get my king castle, actually. Yeah, let me just get my king out the center of the board. Bishop f4, though. Bishop f4 comes with, okay, knight f4 is also strong. I mean, maybe he wants to play knight h3, but there's king up. Knight d3. Don't think that's what he want to play. Queen a5 tries to trade the queen. I think I need to just try to get the queens off the board. And then if he moves this queen away, I just check and trade the queen. So here takes, and then I'm just gonna play chess down a pawn. What if I play d4 here? d4, knight up, king up, takes. Let's try d4. d4 is a very reckless move. Queen to a5 would have been a bit scary. I don't want to be playing scary moves. There's knight e2 check, and I go here. I'm ahead by an entire minute on the clock. But I don't think time is as important on the clock here. It's like in the next 5 moves, I'm gonna know if I'm either winning this game or holding on to dear life or anything. Check, I go here. That's what I calculated. Anything takes on f2, I just take back. Oh, but then he has queen here. Where's that queen going? Okay, so the queen guards the knight. I think I have to check on a8, but then he blocks with the rook. What does he want though? Takes, rook takes. Okay, I have to check. Definitely have to check. So that way he pulls his rook back. Definitely have to go in that. And then once he pulls his rook back, then I pull my queen back. And if knight f4, I go king h1. And if queen h3, I go rook g1. So he pulls the rook back. I go queen e4. Oh, shoot, that doesn't work. Well, my queen is under attack. I have to move it. If he goes here, I go back. I have to go here. No, no, don't need to think about it too much. I just have to do it. Queen h3, I have to go here. And then pawn f5. Do I just resign after pawn f5? Or rook g3? Okay, pawn d5 first. Pawn d5. So if queen takes, he puts the queen here. And if he's threatening 2 types of checkmates, it's over. Okay, if I counterattack the queen, he takes the queen, I take. But he's just gonna sack his rook. That's the thing. Oh boy, I'm losing, man. Okay, I'm gonna try this. I'm just gonna try it. I'm putting my queen on the same diagonal as the bishop. It's not like I had a choice. Queen h3, rook g1. Again, I'm ahead by an entire minute, but I do not think the time on the clock is important. The question is, am I able to survive a few more moves? So immediate rook down was played. Okay, can I play rook c1 as a defensive move? And if he puts the queen here, I play rook g1. Okay, what? Where's the defensive move? It's not knight c5. Queen here is coming next. Queen g3, that's coming next. Rook g. Do I just play rook g1? If knight h3, I take. All right, let me start with rook g1. Let me just start with rook g1 first. Test out the waters. Knight h. Oh God, knight h3. That was the threat. Because if I takes, there's check. Backside. Okay, do I have knight c5 hit the queen? Let's try knight c5 hit the queen. If he takes, I take. I'm assuming he's just gonna move the queen though. That's the thing. And then if I take, anytime I take, he's gonna take. So you just need to move the queen. But it depends on where he puts the queen. Queen here, I takes. Yeah, queen there, queen there. This is coming next. My queen is under attack. If I go here, he checks. So I have to take. Queen takes. If I take, wait, what was that? Why didn't he take here with check? No, I just need to take the queen, no? Okay. I'm not losing this. Okay, check, king up takes. No, that loses immediately. Okay, bishop g3. Let's go bishop g3. He takes. Um, check, king over. Hit this. Threaten this. Okay, scrap this. Oh, the time is equal. The time is equal. Let's just roll the pawn. Roll the pawn up the board. Can't lose that bishop. Roll the pawn up the board, bro. Roll the pawn up the board. Pass pawns has to be pushed. That was an inaccurate move by him, by the way, because he missed that my bishop was guarded. Now I'm able to hit the rook and then fork him. Poor guy. Okay, now let's take here. Hit the knight so I can win this pawn. Maybe I needed to roll my pawn, actually. That was very careless. Okay, let's push. Let's push. That that's a dead pawn. Very good. Now I just have to play fast. Okay, let me just hit the knight again. Um, okay, he's clearly trying to draw this. Check, check. Very good. Check. That's a knight, sir. Look, I blundered my rook. Okay, this is winning though. Check. Take the rook. Take the knight. And it's the same color bishop. It's the same color bishop. That was crazy. I blundered my rook. Yo. Nice. Win is a win at the end of the day. Once the day ends, a win is a win. Now I just need to win this pawn. There's nothing he could do. The bishop and the pawn is on the same color. So let's just take the pawn. Because now his king has to go over here. Now I just need to roll the pawn up the board. Check, mate. Good game.